all day. Like, believe me.
You've already started.
Yeah. My God. Well, okay, I just pressed the super fun button, start streaming. I'm about to press the start recording button. That means that we are coming at people live, and I get to dive into the spiel that absolutely no one asks for, and that's the important thing here. So, hey everyone. Welcome to Sports Radio 1917, your home for sports discussion and fantasy analysis from a leftist perspective. I'm Kelton, and today I'm joined by my fellow sports Bolsheviks and professional broadcasters, Gabe and Mitchell. How's it going?
Dude, just another day being a professional, grinding away, hoping for something to enjoy.
It's a dark time, I'm sure, over there in the wild yonder. Gabe, are you hanging in there okay, buddy?
Oh man. Not only is my power out, but the Suns, they've gone 8-0. They defied expectations. Not my expectations, mind you. Not my expectations. I fully believed in the Suns 8-0. People can go back and listen to the tapes. The receipts are in the broadcast that I believed in the Suns since the beginning. But yeah, unless the Nets decide to actually play some decent basketball in the next few hours.
Have you watched the Nets play any basketball?
I have watched the Nets play basketball, but I am now, while I don't believe the Nets have any chill whatsoever, most teams have been like, well, fuck it. This is the last game. It doesn't really matter to us. So I'm hoping the Nets decide to, actually take this game seriously and play it and not just give it to the Trailblazers.
In other words, Gabe is about to become like the biggest LeVert fan just in the fucking world. He's like, I want to see, triple double across the board, 40, 20, 15. Let's do this.
Like if you are already a LeVert fan, go behind.
Knowing your luck, Dame is going to have like his first 80-point night or something. Like it's just
he's going to fucking drop what Kobe did to the Raptors on them. What was that, 81 points, 86? I can't even remember. It was rough.
81, 82.
Clearly a good player, just someone who wasn't at all demanding the ball with that sort of a stat line. Just, real good overall guy there.
I'm excited to see Tariq Owens go off on Portland. I think his time has come. It's, if anyone knows who that is on the Suns.
Just fucking shout out, by the way, also to these people who everyone called G League starters. And they're here. They're being forced to play because they are what is termed as technically healthy bodies. And so that's good enough for Orlando. But before we dive too deep in, just wanted to introduce that voice that people are hearing, or if you're tuning in live, that people are seeing. It's Abdul. How's it going?
Hello. I'm very happy to be here. Any excuse to talk basketball and sports from a leftist perspective is a good one. Does not happen enough.
You hear that? Means TV, the Southpaws podcast. That's right. It's us and them. We are the only ones that are out there.
Oh, sorry.
No. Go ahead. Absolutely. I was about to keep spouting off inaccurate information. So
my personal philosophy is that if you're any flavor of leftist, communist, anarchist, whatever, you either need to smoke or be really into sports, because those are the easiest ways to radicalize your coworkers is to have that point of entry. Like, you can either talk sports with them, or you can go out and have a smoke break with them and be like, damn, don't you hate the boss? You know what I mean? Like, it's got to be one of the two. And I fucking tell you, it works. I moved to Edmonton 5 years ago from Toronto, did not like hockey, was able to bullshit my way around the Canadians. And next thing you know, our labor union is very strong.
Hell yeah. Hell to the yeah. Man, I'm glad that y'all weren't discussing CFL football with the mascot over in Edmonton. just being like, oh yeah, no, I love that team. Yep, no, they're real great. Uh-huh.
I will say the Edmonton Stingers just won the Canadian Elite Basketball League Championship with Jamario Moon's nephew. So good for them. It's fun. They're scrappy.
Oh,
They're
my
scrappy.
God.
Yeah.
What was it? Probably like 4 weeks ago when we were covering the basketball tournament. And we were looking at all of these basically, second round busts that are filling the ranks of that god awful thing. And I mean, you really kind of got to see like how people would be like, and this person was at the same training camp that Kobe Bryant visited 3 weeks before he arrived. Like, wow,
You genuinely love to see it. I mean, I will say the CEBL is like the first time they've tried to like truly professionalize Canadian basketball, and it's a lot of fun. Obviously it's not the NBA and it never will be, but like if you like the CFL, for example, you'd be really into the CEBL. Like it's going to get to about the same level where that's out in Flora and like Flora out at that point. But yeah, if you're like that starved for basketball like I am in the fucking dead of winter northern city, I had season's tickets. They got canceled. It sucks. Yeah. Cost $300.
Oh no! So they're not embracing the bubble strategy in Canada. Is
they did actually in Niagara Falls instead of Orlando?
Why?
Which
that's
is great.
Like the
that's
Florida
very Canadian.
of Canada, isn't it? Like
it's a casino town.
That is just the worst place for someone. I remember visiting upstate New York, and we went to Niagara Falls on the U.S. side. And, just driving through there, maybe it was that, part of the century when I was visiting, but they were just like, yeah, no, you like that house? You like that house? You like that house? You can buy all three for $30,000. It's just like, oh, no. Oh, that's all this place has.
It's cheaper to go to Detroit and watch a Raptors game, as I'm sure you'll know if you've ever seen a Detroit, Toronto, like a home game. That is to see a game in Scotiabank Arena. So it's like they pump up the music during Raptors games in Detroit specifically to drown out Raptors fans crossing the border from Windsor. It's fantastic.
Well, and for our ignorant U.S. listeners, that's because Toronto to Detroit is what, like a 3.5 hour drive?
Just about. Yeah, and Windsor's like right across the river, so it's like you can just drive in if you're like, in Western Ontario and just want to see basketball. It's great though. You love to see it. I mean, fuck Dwayne Casey, fuck the Pistons.
Are you having like any hope, by the way, that with the way Memphis is playing, that the Vancouver Grizzlies might get another shot at true success here?
They're a really likable team, huh?
Yeah, I mean
the Grizzlies. Yeah,
when they're healthy, and not pushing the Suns out, they're an incredibly likable team.
Do you know how great it is to see? Like Marc Gasol was my favorite non-Raptors player, like in the league, and when that trade was announced last year, I fucking cried. And have you heard the story of like Coach called him and said like, we're trading you to Toronto. Go win a ring. Like, how do you not love that? That's so fucking nice.
No, I
so, but how do you feel about Marc Gasol now that he's just like $30 million with the dead cap space for next year?
I think he's fucking great on the floor. Like, I still think he's
a locker room guy,
Yeah. Well, I mean, like I will be the Marc Gasol defender here. His shots not great. He still makes Embiid his son. And JV and every other fucking guy guards.
Great defender.
It's the fact that he just knows like exactly where everyone is on the floor. Like he's able to play make so beautifully. Like I still think it's nice watching him play because you could just sort of see his brain working. You know what I mean? Like even though he's not, and I don't like talking about intangibles because that's usually Homer bullshit. But like Marc Gasol is also the smartest player on that floor. Yeah.
Like, wow, look at that guy with his intangibles there. He's got a real grit. His motor knows how to go for the fifth quarter. Like, interesting.
But watching him during the Grizzlies game, or even last night where he didn't play a ton of time, but like Embiid is so scared of him and it's like a beautiful thing to see. But yeah, like he's obviously not like as good as he was once upon a time, but like I think he just absolutely raises the IQ of the team every time he's on the court. Like he's able to cover for all of their fucking mistakes. He's able to like quickly make decisions. He's just lovable. Like, don't you see him and want to give him like a big hug? Don't you want to be hugged by Marc Gasol's massive arms?
I just want to walk up to him, get in that loving embrace, and then just be like, "What's Pau like? Is he as nice as I think he is? Does he smell like you?"
I mean, I don't want to be. Not as much as I want to be hugged by Andre Iguodala's best biceps in the league. And I will fight anybody on that. All right, well, real quick, let's talk about this. You know, there's a lot of awards that are going to be given out here in the very near future. Best 5 biceps in the league. I mean, I think Andre Iguodala easily a lock for number 1.
Interesting. I mean, that's a very peculiar muscle group that I think.
Yeah.
Are we talking like
good
in
muscle
terms of
for
all
basketball
time,
players.
or what are we doing here?
We're talking about of current basketball players, people who have just some good bicep definition. Like if there was like a bodybuilding championship for just your biceps, who would take home the Mr. Olympia of biceps?
I mean,
that's tough.
Dwight Howard, maybe. Like
Dwight Howard, that's a good definition.
Like that's all he has, you know. I'm not saying like, you don't have to be a good basketball player to have good biceps still, you know.
Rudy Gobert, actually. I've just Googled Rudy Gobert's biceps because I had a hunch, and they are lovely.
Oh, I can imagine that too.
They're like well toned, but not like, you know, offensively muscular, like where you look at someone, you're like, they're gonna roid rage on you. Like they look like you could clamp you in a firm hug as you cry into his chest, as you cough into his chest.
I like how bad he just want to hug all the giant NBA players.
Yeah, what would a hug from Taco Fall be like?
Yeah, no, I the more I think about it, the more I just think it really is kind of just like Andre Iguodala and then fucking Dwight Howard for me. I'm sorry, Rudy. It'll be okay. Like the hands down champion though is like fucking Malone, I think. Right? Like peak Malone.
Yeah.
Like
Peak Malone, absolutely.
I mean, I forget what the photo is, but I only like really know this, number one, because it's burned into my brains because of fucking Houston and Utah Jazz, just of how their matchups always go. But also just, you know, that photo of him where it's from the back and you just like see every fucking tendon just really, you know, highlighting somehow the bicep.
That's uncomfortably enormous.
Yeah, I know, the right? National Bicep Association. That's what we're talking about today.
Yeah, I'm looking at that photo right now. It is actually quite scary. Like there's some fuckery happening in that photo because in every other picture they don't look near as big.
This is like when people were still like fucking like smoking cigars and drinking beers after a game, you know? Like it's insane. Imagine like what that body would look like with like a fucking LeBron James level nutritionist. That's what I want to know. You know why? Because Malone embraced being bald, LeBron. Okay, real Chad move is what this is. They're trying to Sharpie it on before every game. My God.
I mean, I'm just shocked with all the money that LeBron makes. He hasn't gotten a hair replacement. Like an experimental Turkish hair replacement surgery yet.
He probably
he's
has,
got
but they don't
cancer. Like
he's like reverse Samson, right? If he adds hair, he loses his power.
Oh my God. I would love that. That, you know, LeBron, while he still had his original hairline, is 0 for 5 in the finals. Just a trash player. The second it starts going, you watch like his records just start to climb up and up and up. I like this reverse Samson. It's a good take. Even more encouragement for him to go all bald. That's what needs to happen here. I'm so sorry though for that you know sidetrack though, Gabe. because I know like one of the things that we wanted to talk about here is the NBA, for whatever reason, has decided that anything that happens in the bubble award-wise isn't going to matter, right? That you know, fine. These 8 games, what could possibly happen in these 8 games that would fundamentally shift your perspective on what a player is or what a team identity could be, right? It's not going to be that important. So all of the regular voting has already occurred, meaning what? Giannis is going to be the fucking MVP, and then we get to, you know, kind of argue over scraps over who else makes first team from there. But we get to think about who's going to be winners of the Bubble Ball Awards or the seeding games. Which do y'all like more, seeding games or Bubble Ball?
Bubble Ball.
Yeah, it just makes sense.
Bubble Ball.
Bubble Ball.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the Phoenix
seeding
Bubs,
I
if you
have
will.
I have a proposal that I've been kicking around for the last couple of days. So clearly Bubble Ball needs to stay. Like, everybody loves it. There's nothing that people want to really see.
Also,
and
with the season potentially starting again in October, that, you know, I think we'll have to stick with Bubble Ball.
That's some turnaround.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Going to be gladiatorial. They're just going to be in a Coliseum in Disney playing forever.
It's the fucking Space Jam. That's what happened to them.
The Monstars won. We just, they're just playing the long game. Yeah.
So I think what needs to happen. Hear me out. This is my proposal that I am drafting a very sternly worded letter to Adam Silver that will either get this to happen or get me put on some sort of list. I'm not entirely sure what exactly, but so NBA needs to have 2 seasons a year, a fall season and a spring season. Fall season, all of the teams. First off, I think there's a very good, potentially maybe controversial take that the NBA needs to be shrunk down to 20 teams. There's too many teams.
Who would you cut? What teams would you cut?
The Suns
would
be one of them. That would end up getting cut.
First off, I would not cut the Suns. I would actually cut probably
There's
most
no
of the
history
Eastern,
there, so
I would cut probably most of the Eastern Conference, to be honest. But here's what we do. Here's what we do. Since most people aren't going to be super cool with just losing a bunch of teams, that's fine. You're all cowards. But anyway, what we do is we play the full NBA, all the teams. We play a tournament in the fall. Just maybe 40, 50-ish games or whatever, and then you have some sort of March Madness-style tournament rush to the end to declare the champion. And then you take the 20 best teams from that tournament, give them 4 months off, and then you do Bubble Ball in the spring. So we get 2 champions every year. We get to relive Bubble Ball every single year. And I think we'd all be better for it. And basically, we would have the equivalent of 3 March Madness-style sprints every year. I think that would be absolutely amazing. It's the kind of basketball we want to see. I will not be hearing any comments or criticisms to the contrary.
I'm just now picturing Gabe like a fucking religious zealot, how they traveled to Jerusalem every year. Gabe decides to journey through to Orlando every single year to, stand outside the gates, welcome them in.
Just wearing a gas mask as people cough on the street, just like, huddling in like a cloak as you approach the gates of Disney. I think you could probably cut the Knicks, the Nets, Charlotte.
No, Charlotte. Yeah, sorry, Michael. Yeah,
not
Charlotte
the Raptors. Definitely not the Raptors. Yeah.
I think you're cutting the Knicks. You're cutting a lot of history. You got to be careful with those bottom dwellers in the East with the Knicks and Atlanta. You cut those out, you cut a lot of NBA history out.
It's fair, actually.
Well, as long as JD and the sharpshooters is in charge of the Knicks, we don't need them in the league. So if the Knicks can get their – now, I'm not saying we need to do this the very next season. Let's give every team we'll give them 5 years to prove they deserve to stay in the league. So you have 5 years to turn it around and prove that you are one of the top 20 teams in the league.
See, I like this idea only if that means that then the bottom 10 teams, we then force them to go play in the G League. That's what happens. We essentially then build out the G League with a bunch of
all their
overpaid
franchise players
Proposal.
get bid on.
Yeah, exactly.
Minnesota, Detroit both get folded into Toronto because it's all north of the 49th parallel anyway.
I'm actually okay with that.
Yeah. No, I think a team with Siakam and Cat just no, there's no appeal there, no selfish motivation on your end.
It would be great. I mean, cut whatever team, just don't cut the Raps because they are amazing. I'm a fucking homer. Yeah.
Well, we can say this. How about this? If you won a championship in the last 10 years, you're safe from being eliminated.
No, what about this? You are one of the last 10 champions instead
of last Mavs 10 won in 2011, all right?
Was that 10 years okay, ago. Yeah. All right. Oh, yeah.
Yes, okay. One of the last 10 champions. That's fine. Then you're safe from being eliminated.
You hear that? Warriors winning another 6 times in 7 years isn't going to knock any more people out. It's not going to just be you sitting on the throne of bones.
I mean, I'm just saying this decade is going to be the decade of the Warriors. They are going to somehow get Giannis through some sort of salary cap magic. Devin Booker is somehow going to join the team as well. Draymond's going to be fined millions of dollars for tampering.
They trade Steve Kerr to the Houston Rockets. They pick up D'Antoni as a coach.
Exactly. And D'Antoni is going to win more championships than Phil Jackson in the next 10 years.
I want to see how that math checks out, but okay. That sounds great.
By this metric, I don't think the Bulls would still be a team if you just kept the 10 that won a championship. I think it's exactly 10 teams after the Bulls dynasty ended, which actually I'm okay with.
I'm sorry, the Bulls have been trash for a long time. So
talk about delivering that letter to Michael Jordan. By the way, just being so listen, Charlotte's out. He's like, oh man, that sucks, but I understand. Also, the Bulls. God. Well, I think that's a fascinating proposal, and I'm sure our group chat that we have going on Twitter of socialist basketball diehards won't object at all to you fucking with that and getting rid of some of their beloved teams.
First off, I have bullied that chat into being diehard Suns fans. I will get them to accept this proposal.
Oh God. Well, as you work on that, I think it's time that we go through what we consider to be the Bubble Ball Awards, and we can kind of run that through. We each gave our answers, and I want us to just have an in general discussion at each position point, unless we all universally agree, and then have that person kind of play devil's advocate, defend yourself, stand and fight, God damn it, as they say. So the player, the MVP of the seeding games, the Bubble Ball Master, we have pretty much everyone going for Devin Booker except Mitch, who I guess just decided not to watch any games, but somehow has been faking it this entire time. Defend yourself, sir. What's going on here?
I mean, Damian Lillard putting up a 50 burger, and then the next game coming back and putting up 61.
If Lillard gets the playoffs, Booker gets the MVP. You cannot give him both.
To take the 8th seed? You put up 61 to take the 8th seed, and you think Devin Booker's the MVP because they won 8 in a row against 4 teams that were resting their starters? I mean, come on.
Yeah, they win 8-0. That's the record speaks for itself. 8-0 when everyone expected them to go 0-8.
That's true.
They won 4 games, and then they got 4 undertoss softball throws at them,
What is it? Okay, what does it say in
did fucking
in the box
steamroll,
score?
though,
a W
Mitch.
is a W.
I mean, how many teams have been given the fucking backups, and then they still end up getting smashed. Looking at you, Clippers. What was that performance against the backup Nets? Explain what the fuck is going on there.
I haven't checked like basketball Twitter today. So has the 8th seed been decided in the West now?
Not yet.
The 8th seed is the Grizzlies.
Oh, I'm sorry. The 8th seed. My apologies. Yes.
Well,
Yeah.
if the Portland doesn't win, then the 8th seed's the Grizzlies. And if Portland wins, Portland's the 8th seed, and Grizzlies the 9th seed.
Yeah.
So the Grizzlies are in.
Yeah.
And
amazing.
Yeah, Grizzlies are in no matter what.
Yeah, so for anyone listening tomorrow morning, congratulations to Portland and or the Suns on their, God. But regardless,
never a bigger crime will have occurred in basketball if the Suns don't make it in. Like there is
nothing will be better for their brand, though. Can you imagine the advertising that will exist again come, the start of next season?
The only undefeated bubble team in the history of the NBA.
Yeah, and then they go like 0-6 right out the gate. Just...
They are lovable. Like they are. It is such a great story to like watch. I mean, but I don't know. Like I guess objectively speaking, Lillard may be on the stat line like the better player, but like Booker is willing that team the whole way through.
He absolutely is.
Again, if Lillard goes into the playoffs, I absolutely think that Booker deserves the spot, especially since if we're going for, like point guard position wise, Lillard makes the all bubble team there. Like I understand it's not nearly as prestigious, but like it's pretty much just him kind of standing alone at that spot.
You guys are forgetting about the bubble star that is Ricky Rubio.
Yes.
That man he speaks to you in his Spanish accent, and he makes love with the ball out there out on the court. He directs the team, makes the things happen, makes Booker look good, took the Suns to 8-0. Sure, Lillard scores points and also wins games. But Rubio, he took a team filled with Zoomers.
You're right. Booker had nothing to do with it. Booker's trash. You know what? Lillard deserves the MVP. You won me over, Mitch. Congratulations.
I'm just saying it isn't just about one person. It's a team effort. Booker, he's great, and he is indeed deserving of the bubble MVP. But Rubio was there facilitating, helping make things happen, bringing everything together during that long stretch of the regular season where everything was terrible.
To get drafted while looking like a member of a band on Warped Tour and is now slowly evolving into looking like Manu Ginobili. Like, I'm watching it happen in real time here.
Adam Morrison would like to have a word with you.
Yeah, Booker is always interesting because like he's the player who plays closest to Area 51, and like I love him. I love his look, but he does have like an alien vibe to him. Like he does look like he did
as Kendall Jenner would
touchdown.
say, exotic. Okay, we have to.
Jesus Christ!
Oh, I'm sorry. You're right. I'm the asshole in this situation, not the family of fucking Armenian chasers that are going after and ruining our NBA talent. This is awful. This is awful. What's happening here?
I mean, Kendall Jenner will be in the bubble, like without a doubt. Like that is something I'm willing to put money on.
I do love how in their bubble ticket scheme, did you all see this? Where they're like, you're allowed to have one friend in the bubble. You have to have proven you've met that person.
Yep.
And have a the James Harden rule, right? Like, oh man.
You know him long enough, you know him just for a short period of time, it's okay. I want to get some Photoshops going. Do you think we can make that happen? Start that side hustle for these people? Just like, yes, this is me.
The Wizards and all the other teams that have been like, they're out of the playoffs. I want them to be in the audience with their Instagram models.
Like, man, good for you. Man, you guys showed us.
That's a whole new aspect of the entertainment is we get to see everyone's girlfriend or whoever they're, whatever, they're +1.
It's so bad we're not able to make it. Anyways, we're going to bounce out of the bubble, go leave, probably going to go like hang out in Vegas, go to a foam party, but I hope you
get COVID. Wait, how did I just become the host of this call? Weird.
Well, I think the short answer is you took control. You seem dominant, trustworthy fellow.
Very comfortable.
Yeah.
I left my podcast to start a revolution of yours.
Oh, this is where I find out I've been voted out.
Fucking Christ. Okay, we're never gonna get through it at this point. But before I forget, for shooting guard, everyone voted Booker except me. I voted Harden simply on principle that I voted for Booker for MVP. And I just don't want to double dip like that. I think, we do not appreciate Harden enough.
The grift.
Yeah. But I will accept that in general, the storyline all-star for the bubble has definitely been Booker. Now, the one position, well, I should say from here on out, actually, it's kind of a free-for-all for all of us. So I would like us to defend each of our stances here moving forward. Because for small forward here, Mitchell, you decided Warren, and Abdul, you also decided Warren. And Gabe, you put Bridges because he's a Phoenix Suns member, and I appreciate that. However, I am curious to know if you had to pick between Warren or my pick of Jimmy the God Butler, who dismantled Warren, ruined him for the remainder of the bubble. Who you would side with in this situation here?
Butler. TJ Warren's a scrub. I mean, that's why the Suns gave him away for cash.
I forgot the personal vendetta side. My apologies, y'all. I thought Gabe would give an unbiased opinion on this situation here.
I thought
it's a completely unbiased opinion. I mean, it's a completely unbiased opinion because Warren, okay, cool. He comes out first person to score 50 points in the bubble, and then goes on when he goes and plays the Suns, a team that everybody doubted, a team that everybody said didn't belong in the bubble, gets what, 16 points on
really
7 for 20-something shooting?
For. Like, I mean, the second the teams were like, oh, he's pretty good, let's start game planning for him, then his numbers immediately went down. Like I don't understand versus Butler.
That's what happens whenever you're not a true all-star.
But I mean, if it's just bubble ball awards, you're looking at like breakout players. Yeah,
like he's been great for those 8 games, and like
even
I would pick Jimmy. Yeah, I would pick Jimmy Butler, but he missed like 3 games for injury. Like, no, you can't have that.
It's just simply the fact that like when they decided to piss Jimmy Butler off, he decided, well, all right, it's go time, and him and the Heat just activated, and that, I mean, just weighs more for me. But fine, agree to disagree. We are going to be going into the power forward section here, which I want everyone to go ahead and read off your selections here. Who was your preferred power forward, Mitchell?
I went with Kristaps Porzingis, and I feel like that's a pretty solid choice.
Where are you from? Just out of curiosity.
From Dallas.
Okay, gotcha. And,
Kristaps is averaging 30 points a game in the bubble. So.
Okay, no, it's okay. We can defend each other a little later on. It's fine. Now, Abdul, who did you pick?
I went with an unconventional choice, but again, it's bubble ball. You're looking at good PER in the bubble, people who are breaking out, going off. This is a fucking homer-ass take, but Chris Boucher fucking rules. He's been having a good bubble time. He's not a starter, but...
Yeah.
He's not even a starter on his own team, but he's an all-star for the bubble.
I'll give it to him. I'll say, you know what? I never expected, Bloc Québécois to get, this good at the age of 27.
Now, see, when I picked Siakam, because I again watch these games, and if I don't, the group chat will make fun of me mercilessly for it.
You watch these games and you picked Siakam.
Yeah, Come on now. He has been doing everything on the floor. Like,
his game last night was amazing. Like he didn't score a ton, but like look at how fucking quick he is on recovery. Look at like some of those ball saves, like from going out of bounds, were amazing. Like through the legs, jumping up into the air stuff like that. Like
it was a good pick, Abdul. I appreciate
so a little bit
it.
of Siakam history is he played for a school out of Texas called God's Academy, where they literally just like played basketball for 8 hours a day instead of having regular high school. And my school went to a tournament that God's Academy was there. And all the college coaches were there scouting probably Pascal Siakam because we're like the same age. So that's my...
Yeah. College coaches were out there. Yeah, it was me and Pascal Siakam.
There, but for the grace of God. Yeah.
First off, Mitch made Siakam look good. Like that is like a true wing. Like any good wingman, you got to make your buddy look good. And so, Mitch, I think you need to get Siakam to help you slide into some IG model DM.
I should clarify, I didn't play for God's Academy. I was about 6 inches too short.
That's right. A real Ricky Rubio type situation.
Exactly.
We're going through here. And then Gabe, just so people can keep identifying what the trend is here, who did you pick for your power forward?
Johnson from the Phoenix Suns, ladies and gentlemen. He has put up a phenomenal performance over these 8 games. Helped the Suns to go 8-0 in the bubble. If anybody is unfamiliar with how the Suns did in the bubble at this point, so
because it's a team effort, it's no 2 stars that can really leverage them.
I'm going to suggest an alternative Johnson, Stanley Johnson, famous closer of games, against top-seeded teams like the Philadelphia 76ers.
Or what about Tyler Johnson?
Yeah, actually. There's a lot of great Johnsons.
But let's not worry about that.
Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty sure Stanley Johnson is a point guard, but that's okay.
Also, I don't want us to get distracted from this, but as of us recording right now, the score is Trailblazers 27, Nets 26. So we should.
God damn it!
I told you the Nets are. You got to believe. The Nets play good basketball.
How are you feeling, by the way, Gabe? Can we get a heat check on what your distraction level is going to be from here on out?
Very high, very high. I am keeping again. If I had power right now, I would be watching this game, and so you would just hear the noise in the background. And if I forget to mute myself, I would be screaming very loudly from time to time. But yeah, I mean, the Nets need to win. The Nets need to win. I mean, Lillard doesn't deserve to be in the playoffs.
Oh, I see it. Mitch is turning it on.
Yeah, I gotta see this now.
We're losing him like flies. I'm so sorry, Abdul. So as we move to the next section here, for center, the big man, the person holding it down right now, Mitchell, who did you have to kick us off here?
I went Jokic, didn't I?
Yes, you did.
All right.
Very confident in your assertion there. I'm glad that put a lot of time, thought, effort into this. Really slaved away on the ranking.
I wanted to get a good, it was either Jokic or Anthony Davis. And I was like, Anthony Davis really hasn't played lights out in the bubble.
No.
And
he's trash in the bubble.
And the skinny Jokic Nuggets look like serious contenders. And so I felt like they needed some representation.
Well, I'm glad for your sake that's how it's going to be playing out for you. So what about you, Abdul?
Again, as a Canadian, as a childhood fan of the Toronto Raptors, the greatest team in NBA history, the longest reigning champions in NBA history, longest reigning single season champs. No, they had to manufacture a plague to to keep the championship there 1 year longer. I've talked about this before. Marc Gasol's performance, not offensively, but defensively is still fucking miraculous. Like, look what he did to Kelly Olynyk. Look what he did to JV, to like Bam, to
Kelly Olynyk. He's not even the starter.
yeah, but that's okay. Who was he playing on that? Who's he playing in that game? Like, who was he paired up against?
It probably was.
Because who?
I
Yeah,
have no
who's
Don't
I don't
know.
fucking
Oh,
know.
Bam
Definitely no
Adebayo
way
is
to
the,
find
the
out.
Heat 5.
What is
Oh
important
yeah, it's
right
Bam.
now,
Bam's
though,
playing at the 5. Yeah, no, like he's been doing so fucking well this whole bubble, just defensively, keeping stars locked down, and Kelly Olynyk. Apparently, I don't know why I had that in my fucking notes. But yeah, like like I said, obviously not the most productive center in the league by a stretch, but it's a joy to
personal
watch him
favorite.
play.
So
No, the 5 spot's not a big production spot anyway. So
Yeah.
heart guy, anchor the team guy. That's whatever. That's
I'll
personal
give
choice.
it to him. Plus, skinny Gasol, very hot right now. Also, I'm just gonna say that mullet and everything in.
I
Yeah,
do love how it's like, look at this grizzled veteran, this ancient man. It's like, oh, he's like 34. Oh, okay. Like, there are famous podcast hosts who are still like 5 years older than Gasol right now.
he looks ancient for like his age. Like he looks like he should be 5 years older than he is.
That's
probably also feels that way.
64 in basketball years.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he's Spanish. They like to go to the club. They enjoy a lot of different types of drugs that aren't particularly, easy on the body or, your facial tightness and structure.
Yeah, I mean, I do think that, also like HGH can make everyone kind of look a little Sly Stallone-esque. And he's definitely got that going. So who knows exactly what's happening there. Last section here for the Bubble Ball Awards, the honorable mentions.
First up, you're forgetting about Ayton. Ayton is clearly the center of choice. Everybody was obsessed with TJ Warren, and then they came up against the Phoenix Suns, and Ayton stuffed Warren at least 14 times.
There we go.
That's right. He ate TJ Warren alive, stuffed him 6 times in a row, at least, if I'm remembering the game correctly.
So we all know what color glasses Gabe's wearing today.
Yeah, very yellow, very hot.
Very purple, very orange.
Do you think
Royalty
Steve Nash
colors.
is watching these games and crying?
No, he's happy. Steve
tears
Nash,
of joy.
Oh, yes,
Like-
you're absolutely right. Yeah.
Finally, my legacy, me and Shaq, finally, our winning streak
Oh,
can
yeah,
be matched.
goddamn. Fucking Shaq was on TNT earlier today taking credit for the Suns winning 10 games in a row in 2010. It's like, Shaq, you were the most useless player on that team. I know Mitch will disagree with me, but whatever.
Yeah,
One
so
of
he
my-
said he was the most useless player. He went 17-8 and played 30 minutes a game and made the All-Star team at 36 years old. That's how useless Shaq was with the Suns.
One of my favorite bubble revelations is that Chuck fantasizes about Shaq dying. Like that interview about Shark Week where he's like, we'd all laugh behind closed doors if Shaq was murdered by a shark. And he's like, people are like laughing uncomfortably. He's like, see.
Charles
there's-
Barkley is upset because Shaq is having the career that Chuck should have had. Really.
Oh, yeah.
When you
yeah.
think about,
Yeah.
like, who's the lovable goofball that has like the video game that's dorky and also like a fucking Arizona iced tea flavor, Charles Barkley is what it screams. And then Shaq has just
Nope,
one-upped
it's
him
Shaq.
and beat him to the punch every single time. Fruit punch flavor.
I mean, you're not going to be the lovable guy if you throw a dude through a plate glass window for spilling a drink on you. Like, just, that's just embrace who you are, Chuck.
Now, of course,
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
Gabe is only mentioning that because that happened while he wasn't a Phoenix Suns member. I believe. Is that correct, Gabe?
This is before Gabe's
Yeah.
time.
Yeah, I believe that was I think it was when he was still playing for the
We don't
Rockets.
talk about that time. We don't talk about that time. Oh God.
Wait, have you always been a Suns fan? Out of curiosity.
I mean, as soon as I moved to Phoenix, I became a Suns fan.
Okay, makes sense.
I mean, I
But yeah,
respect it.
so I mean that again, like I said, to reiterate my rules for what types of teams you're allowed to like. Has to be the team that of the city you currently live in, or the city you were born in.
Not the city you work in.
Those are the only.
or went to school in.
No, not the city.
Or had
that-
sex in.
No,
Look, I'm a
Absolutely
double
not.
homer. I'm a double homer, all right? So I don't want to hear no more Mavs slander around me because I was born here and I live here. So, all right.
I can't. I would love that. It'd be like, you know what? Fine. And then I'll start representing the Arlington Alouettes or whatever the fuck. The White Settlement Wildcats. You heard me? Yeah. Yeah.
What team is that Mexico City G League team attached to?
I
God.
have no idea.
Okay,
Couldn't tell
I was
you.
just curious. Yeah,
I would guess it's the Phoenix Suns.
actually, that would be a good choice. I heard it was coming, and then I guess COVID happened. But
No, they
Either
were
way.
expanding the G League. Oh yeah, because they were doing all the big contracts with the G League now, 6-figure contracts for 18-year-olds
Yeah.
playing the G League too. So that makes sense. They were expanding it.
yeah, to keep them from going to the ABA or whatever, right?
Yeah, I
The-
think.
the
Well,
famous
and they got
league.
one of the top college prospects to
You got like
decommit and
3
go
of
to
them.
the G League.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's-
but they got
it's
like
insane.
the top one,
Mhm.
like the guy. Yeah, it was a big
Yeah,
deal.
no affiliate officially announced. So, you know.
Oh, wild! Yeah, the Capitanes, which I mean, yeah,
Ooh, buddy.
whatever. That's a fine. That's a fine name.
I mean, that's walking a thin line on when I'm picturing some of the fan bases doing. Like, it's not going to be great, I think.
What does that mean? Like, I'm not
Captains,
super familiar.
the captains.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's
No,
what
the,
they
the
do.
name in and of itself is not the problematic part. It's me picturing the 20,000 drunk fans in Mexico City, and then the away team, and what could happen there. You know,
Right.
I want like over under on total number of sombreros that are going to be sold in that stadium. Okay.
Yeah. Also, they picked an easy name to make fun of because you can just call them the Crapitans or something like. Not that Raptors 905 would ever do that. Toronto has never cheered poorly against a team in its entire history, particularly the Golden State Warriors. But yeah, I'm talking about all these other teams.
My God. Okay, well, real quick, we have some honorable mentions to get through. We're also running a little long in the tooth here, so let's spit out the honorable mentions. Gabe, who's your honorable mention?
Kelly Oubre.
Reasonable, on track, all the way through. Abdul,
Steady Freddy, baby. The only person who's not collapsing under the weight of the Boston in that game that definitely did not happen.
oh God, yeah. No, every team in the bubble has had one game that didn't happen, except the Suns, because the Suns is usually the team that's implementing that game on the other teams all the way through.
Ain't
here.
no baby.
All right, and Mitchell.
I went with Michael Porter Jr. because I think he was a big part of the new look contender Nuggets that I felt like deserved some credit.
All
Fun
that
as
bull,
hell
bull
team
love,
too.
You know, God,
Big ball, forward ball, all the way, man.
they're just gonna be such a fun team to watch all the way through. We're doing this draft that's currently taking place of the all under 25 NBA players, and kind of figuring out like what our rosters would look like. In the group chat, we have like a Google sheet set up, and it is just amazing how well stocked some of these teams are. Like, it's a legitimate starting 5 of people, and you're just like, wow, the future of the NBA is looking bright. So it's really gonna suck when we hit another awkward like mid-aughts dry period where there's just like no talent for some reason for 3 years. I went with
It's when the
Luka
Detroit
personally.
Pistons win another championship.
I went with Luka personally, just because I think that he's really kind of having his fun in the sun of every game is a primetime game for him, and he's taking full advantage of that. He's doing all of the passes that we take for granted with James Harden. He's doing all of the 3-point step away Euro step shooting that we also take for granted with James Harden. He's doing all of these like really amazing shots, and I don't know why he's getting the credit, but James Harden isn't. If only there was just a difference between
simple
the two players.
explanation.
Yeah, who knows? Who knows? I'll leave that for the philosophers, though. So,
Hey, but look, in 13 minutes against the Suns, Luka had 18 points and 0 assists.
see, selfish
Very
all the way through.
abnormal game for Luka, embracing his full James Hardenness.
You know that it really is nice to see. Now, if only he could find a way to get negative assists. Just do like turnovers actively for his stat sheet the entire time. Okay, so we have as kind of our I mean, we had something that was going to be talking about, oh well, hey, we should do predictions on the Patriots backfield for fantasy stuff because the Patriots signed Lamar Miller, but I really don't think we have anything to contribute into that other than just like, don't draft a Patriots running back. What the fuck are you doing? Stop, don't.
Unless his name is James White.
And
you're in a PPR
like
league.
The 12th round. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
As the kind of person who only watches football during like big bowl games and, you know, CFL games when I have a free ticket, what is a fucking backfield? Like I have two sports, hockey and basketball. And this is fascinating to me.
Well, you see, in football, you have what is usually considered one lead running back, or you do a running back by committee, which is where you have 3 or 4 people that each have individual skill sets that are specifically tailored to whatever the personnel packages that come out onto the field are. So in a run-heavy, compact formation, you usually have one kind of back. If you have something that relies on, it could be a run or a pass, and you want someone who has good hands in receiving. If you know it's going to be all out, spread out, you know that the running back is just needing to be quick and in space. That's another skill set to have. And some backs in the NFL truly can do it all. And some teams in the NFL, they have a line that is capable enough to turn any back into a bell cow back that can do it all. Looking at all of the people still like, simping for Le'Veon Bell 2020, Jesus Christ. But
Kenyon Drake, baby.
But what the Patriots do, and what they're especially notorious for, is in their backfield with their stable, you have no idea who is going to actually be the breakout star because they just love chaos. And so just when everyone thought that they had it figured out, they then signed some veteran guy to be their potential number one back, or he could play maybe 2 games and then go on injured reserve or on the COVID list. We have no idea. And that was going to be the entire point of the segment, was that, might as well throw darts and figure out who's it going to be, because it makes no sense. Just go James White, last round, last pick if he's available.
Thank you. I wish I had known that the one year I decided to pick up Madden and try to learn the intricacies of football. It went very poorly.
It's okay. We'll have you back on when the XFL and The Rock decide to get shit started again, and then we'll convince you. Mostly because you'll see a whole bunch of CFL teams, or CFL players probably playing in the XFL. So some homerism there all the way through.
Dwayne will bring back all his, decrepit elderly teammates from the Montreal. I don't even know what Montreal CFL team is, but we'll bring them into the XFL.
Just
be the old man league.
Yeah. God. So, again, in the interest of time, because we're running long, I just then wanted to have us be able to focus really on a solid deep dive, because God knows we haven't been diving deep enough with our immediate reaction points. And we give a preview here of some round 1 matchups. So we're going to start in the Eastern Conference, and then we're going to work our way west and go west like the young men that we are. So, in the first matchup, we have the Bucks and the Magic. Arguably the most boring of the first round matchups, I think. Are we all in agreement there?
Yeah.
In what world do you see the Magic winning 1 game against a healthy Bucks?
Ask Mitchell. Yeah.
I only said the Magic would win 1 game because I just hate the Bucks that much. And they've actually been playing like terrible basketball in the bubble. And like as a basketball fan, I'm just like annoyed with the Bucks right now. So I just want to see them lose one game to the Magic because why not?
Yeah, the Bucks also deserve to have an Augustine buzzer beater that is completely inexplicable and stupid. Fuck that.
It's not going to be like, the Magic dominate for a full game. It's going to be like they get lucky as hell and just happen to come out on top of the time.
Again.
Yeah, exactly. Giannis gets suspended for another game, and the Magic are able to capitalize because they've just been getting beat up the whole bubble time. They're like, we can win one game.
Win once. That's all it takes. We'll be hailed as heroes in our hometown.
Exactly.
That advantage point here. Mitchell, you have them in 5. Abdul, you put them at 4. I also have Bucks in 4. Gabe, who do you have in this matchup?
Bucks in 4.
Oh, I thought you were going to go Phoenix Suns. My apologies. I thought we were building the bit here. My God.
I mean, first off, let's be honest. It's Bucks in 4, but honestly, Suns could take either of these teams, no problem.
I legitimately think the Suns could probably go at least 7 games against the Bucks in a series.
Oh yeah, 7 games and win. Absolutely.
So right. I filled in Gabe's part of the docket, and it made me really happy for how long he went along with it.
This next one, I will say, the take made me go apoplectic.
Oh, I did this for you.
Yeah. So for the next round here, we have the Raptors and the Nets. And here we'll save it. We'll save it. Let's do a little building here. Abdul, in your unbiased opinion as a Toronto Raptors fan, how do you see the series playing out?
Okay, I think it's most likely going to be Raps in 4, but the Raptors are historically bad at winning playoff openers. So I think that first game might just be, a Nets game. Again, it's just going to be some fluke shot that
you cracked my code. That's exactly why I picked Raptors in 5. Like I picked them to go 1-1, and then they just fucking
get swept.
Yep.
I think this might be the year where they actually fucking sweep an opening series though. Like they're good enough to make it to the conference finals if they play well, if they're coached well enough and stuff like that. Like I think they're definitely a contender, and this will be nice practice for all of their second string guys against this, Karis LeVert, and I don't think I can name a single other player on the current Nets roster.
Credit to the G League,
Jared Allen,
because all of these people.
Jared Allen.
Now, Gabe, who do you have?
So I think ultimately the Suns could take the Raptors in 7 games and sweep the Nets. No problem. Like, it's a travesty that they're probably not going to make it into the playoffs.
Really is an awful thing. Now, Mitchell,
how is the score in the Portland game so close? I'm sorry. I just looked it up.
51-47.
Because people do not understand the Nets are one of the best basketball teams in the league. All right?
The best G League team of all time.
Look, here's the deal. The Nets play within their system, and their system is, let's hope to God we make our 3-pointers. And that is Toronto's kryptonite. Toronto is one of the worst perimeter defensive teams in the league. They allow teams to shoot 40% from 3. This is a recipe for disaster for Toronto. They're looking ahead. They're looking past the Nets. Everyone's looking past the Nets. And the Nets are going to squeak out a 7-game win against Toronto.
Toronto also has the least amount of made threes on open looks from other teams. So, I mean, they spook other teams enough that they're just going to keep fucking up their 3-pointers. Unless, any one of these guys... Unless everyone goes off all at once on the Nets.
So I'll fill you in on the Nets. Besides Karis LeVert and Jared Allen, is everyone else just shoots threes. That's all they do. Joe Harris shoots threes. These other guys, they just shoot threes and shoot threes and shoot threes, and they're going to shoot 40 threes, and they're either going to make 20 of them and win, or they're going to make 7 of them and lose. Like that.
But the Raptors also shoot threes. They also play Do the Nets have a defense right now?
We don't need to talk
they have
about
a lot
that.
of heart.
Come on, then.
They have a lot of heart, all right? The Nets are doubted by everyone. So they are going to sit there and they're going to bring it to you. I mean, they've upset the Bucks. They've upset the Clippers. They're within 3 points of Portland, who's fighting for their life right now. I mean, when are people going to stop sleeping on the Nets?
It's 5 points now. Wait, yeah, it's.
Well, he
five,
just got to the free throw line. It'll be 5 points, but we're not there yet.
Well, that certainly is, I think, a very interesting way to look at things, Mitchell. I am going to try my absolute best to not rib you too hard. I
will say the Nets will not be swept. Like, if you think the Nets are going to be swept, you're going to be disappointed.
All right. Do we have your permission, by the way, Abdul, to add you to the Socialist Basketball Twitter group chat?
Hell yeah, I have so much free time now.
That's right. I'm going to slowly. All this is now just a way to funnel everyone into the group chat. You know, that's the real growth that then is going on here. So I think it's then time that we talk about two probably of the most popular teams in our group chat, the Celtics and the 76ers, who are facing off against each other here. And
fuck them both.
There we go. There's that classic measured response, I think. You know? My God. Now, we all kind of have the Celtics winning in 5 or 6. Is that correct? Gabe, what are you thinking?
So ultimately what I think is the Suns could sweep the 76ers, no problem if given the chance. They would have a little trouble taking care of the Celtics, but I think they could get the Celtics down in 6.
Good analysis, just through and through. That's the important part here. Do y'all think that there's any way that the 76ers could actually take advantage of it? Because the way I see it is that in this series, the Celtics will have one off game, and the 76ers will have one game where they're firing on all cylinders. And then after that, you kind of take off their two polarizing points, and then they're stuck in this pretty good malaise that I just think the Celtics are generally better than on a nightly basis.
I think there's two things about this series. One, it will be very boring because these teams are just a great match for each other. Like, they just know they'll figure each other out in 2 games, and then the rest of the series will be really tedious. But the 76ers, I don't like talking about intangibles, but they just do not have the will to succeed. Well, I mean, I think they're just easy to cave under pressure. They're just not super good at letting the game not get to them, head game wise and stuff like that. Whereas the Celtics are actually, all bias aside, a very good team. And I'm very scared of the Raptors matching up with them because they are a fucking terrible matchup. Unless Chris Boucher is on the floor, and for whatever reason, he appears to be a Celtics killer. But it's like the Sixers are not. I just don't think they're a fucking equation in this game, especially, or in this series or the playoffs, especially with Simmons out. He's the only rock steady guy on that team, right?
I mean, they are so beat to hell. Yeah. Just as a team, you would think that they had months to get things right, and then they just kind of fall apart. It's insane that for a team that probably has such a high ceiling, for them to constantly know that they probably fall easily 7 to 10 games short of that ceiling, but must just, fire the coach is my point. That's what it all.
Well, yeah. So we all know that the 76ers, doubled down on tall ball with the Horford signing, and there was always going to be questions going into the playoffs, how are the 76ers going to play their best 5 players? Because Horford, Embiid, and Simmons just can't play on the court at the same time.
That's right. Because one of them will always be hurt. That's the answer. We fixed it. See?
So now the focal point kind of shifts to Josh Richardson and Shake Milton. And, Josh Richardson's really kind of like an X factor in the series to me. If he can kind of take that next step and show that he's not just an NBA role player, then I think that, the Celtics had the size the 76ers had the size to give the Celtics some trouble, because that's where the Celtics kind of lack is interior defense. So I mean, they're it's not just like all said and done, but it's hard to bet against the Celtics.
I just
but
want
on
to
the
say,
other
how
hand-
can you?
Sorry,
Oh,
don't
no.
mean to interrupt, but real quick. But on the other
Yep.
hand, you have Kemba Walker, you have fucking Jason Tatum, you have Jaylen Brown, you have Marcus Smart, you have Gordon Hayward. Like all of these guys, they almost are. If you were to make a team that could beat the 76ers almost at their own game or in the idealized form of, I think, how the 76ers deep down do want to play, that the Celtics are that. And so, I mean, like what Abdul was saying, that they are a fantastic matchup for each other. I just truly see them as, having the edge in pretty much every category.
I just want to say, how can you call Marc Gasol 30 mil in dead cap space when Al Horford exists?
Oh yeah, no. Obviously, so there was a lot of rumors that the Mavericks were going to sign Al Horford and Patrick Beverly, and then once I saw those two contracts, I was like, thank God. Thank God. Like those two are the most...
I'm a Patrick Beverly truther here.
He's making $13 million a year, which to me is like, that's a lot for Patrick Beverly for 9 points a game.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you also get to see a guy who taunts people right then and there.
That's his role. He's the
those free throws. Miss those
Yeah.
free throws. So, then the last matchup that we have for the Eastern Conference is one that is near and dear to my heart.
The most I'm excited for.
Yeah, I mean, it really in my head is the series that I want to watch the most. Like I will carve out time. So you hear this, basketball gods, please put this on in prime time. Please. Don't put this on your like shitty 3 p.m. slot that you have for bubble games. I don't like it. I don't appreciate it. It is the Heat and the Pacers. We have Miami versus Indiana, which I also think that Miami might have a larger population than the entire state of Indiana. So that's a pretty good 1-to-1, I think. What have we got prediction wise, y'all?
I had Heat in 7. I think it's going to be one of the most fun series to watch. I think it's going to be so fucking exciting. Like this is going to be, it's just going to be a really sharp, really cool. You're going to see people going off and not expect them to. Like, I think this is just going to be a blast, start to finish. I mean, I'm excited for TJ Warren to drop his, the highest number of points in a game in a postseason ever.
19,
starting here. Yeah.
19 is going to be the answer if Jimmy Butler has anything to say about it. Oh God. Yeah. It really just seems like it's two different vibes as teams. And I know that sounds weird and it definitely is, shitty analysis on my part, but it really feels like Indiana has been just pushing for the postseason for so long. Like they're ready to be on this stage. And then Miami has been really proving people wrong. Cause I mean, people have been saying like this whole thing is going to blow up. These personalities, eventually stuff is going to go south. And when it does, it's going to start tanking and cratering. And if anything, they've gelled together even more as a team. And so you get this,
Eric Spoelstra.
Coach of the year, right?
But yes.
Not for my beloved Thunder, but it's okay.
No, Nick Nurse, completely
Nick
unbiased.
Nurse, Eric Spoelstra, both deserve to be in the conversation going forward from here on out forever.
The Pacers are also, I don't know if they're a pressure team. I don't know if they're good under pressure. Whereas like all those big personalities on the Heat could turn that into something amazing if like, Spo cooks them right or whatever, but I'm not sure the Pacers can sustain, the constant fucking onslaught.
Here's the thing about the Pacers with Sabonis not having played the entire bubble, whether it was Oladipo out, Brogdon out, Warren out, it didn't matter. Someone else stepped up every single game. Like the Pacers are just playing the basketball that you love to see. Like
that's right.
Total team concept, buying into the system, doing all the right things. Both of these teams are. That's why the matchup's so exciting.
I mean, it really depends on how much I think they piss off Jimmy Butler. Like I think.
Jimmy Butler's pissed off.
Well, I think though that like if no one gets personal across the board, that it'll kind of fizzle and it won't, generate anything. But I think, that like the second like someone lunges at Jimmy Butler, that's going to galvanize the Heat and to really crank him into another gear.
Look, you said you watched The Last Dance twice. You know how Michael Jordan would make things up to psych himself up? That's Jimmy Butler, dude. Jimmy Butler is going to make things up. He went after Chris Paul the other day. I mean, Jimmy Butler is just one of those guys that you love to see in the NBA right now. You can't call him soft. You can't question his work ethic. Like, that dude is just the real deal. Like, he's grinding it out. Like, no one expected the Heat to be legitimate contenders. And I actually think Heat or Boston's going to come out of the East.
Wow. Okay. Well,
that's
we're gonna
impressive
save that
take
for a
when the
couple
Raptors
weeks
exist.
down the road, really, yeah, just spitting in the face of our guest here. We have to at least say that we can see Toronto definitely making the finals, or at least the conference finals. As long as we have Abdul on. Once he leaves, then it's gonna be like not a chance in hell.
I do think Toronto has a good chance. I do think they have
Paper
a good chance.
Tigers all the way through. That's what's happening here.
The persecution complex of the Canadian NBA fan is real. You know what I mean? Like this constant. Like what they have the best overall record after the Warriors, I think, in the last couple of years.
Yeah.
And it's like one of those things where it's like, even if people are saying good things about the Raptors, just Toronto fans will just be like, we're just not getting enough respect from the media, from American basketball fans. This is a team of one country, which is definitely fake and genocidal, but that's okay. But like,
what I'm hearing is that Jimmy Butler should spend his twilight years in Canada and just really take him to another level.
Oh hell yeah! You know what? Giannis is going to sign with the Raptors. You just watch. The Bucks will not make the finals while Giannis is on that team.
Gabe has just gone silent here. I think as he's thinking in a catatonic.
So I'm keeping an eye on this Blazers game that they seem to somehow be winning. But here's what I would say about the Heat Pacers is, one, I think the Suns could take the Heat in 7. They would take the Pacers in 5, but because Suns are the hot team and hot is related to heat, I say the Heat's going to win 7.
I see. Flawless logic here all the way through. So it's interesting that you do bring up the game, because that actually brings us on over into the West here. With we got 4 games in the first round. The first one, of course, being Lakers versus TBD. It's going to be the winner of Memphis versus who. And I think, like, as much as I love the Suns, I think it's going to be the Blazers. I think the Blazers are going to roast the fucking Grizzlies. And then I think that the Blazers will put up a good fight. I think they'll definitely take one away from the Lakers. But I think that the Lakers will probably finally get their act together, and we're going to see playoff LeBron start to take over like he always does.
No, man. Lakers are – I'm going to start it. So that we can be the first ones on the record. Lakers are soft. They are going to lose. They're going to be taken to 7 in the first round. And, if it's by the Suns – this is a little meta criticism. The sports media is going to start talking about the Lakers being soft, or they're going to ask the question, were the Suns just that good? Or is Portland just that good? Or whatever. If they get the Grizzlies, they're going to sweep the Grizzlies, no problem. But we're going to get the same garbage takes from Skip Bayless and all those other people at ESPN and TNT. This is the intangibles commentary is what's going to start happening if the Lakers lose even one single game. And if they face anybody but the Grizzlies, they're going to lose more than one game. In fact, they're going to lose 4 games if they meet the Suns in the playoffs.
Interesting, sir. Now, so I would assume that would mean that who are you picking in 7 here? Just to clarify for people.
Oh, Suns in 7, absolutely, no problem.
Gotcha. Of course. Does anyone think that? Mitchell, Abdul, what do y'all think if it is Portland and not the Suns, oh no, but if it is Portland, how do you think that series plays out?
Absolute heresy.
I know. I said if it is Portland, I think the Blazers can upset the Lakers. And I mean, like, this might be wishful thinking because I'd love to see Lillard just completely, make, AD and LeBron his children. But like, I think
half-court shots is Lillard gonna do?
just feeding it to him at the logo and just like going automatic. Just how many points can someone score standing in the same place the entire game? But I would love to see that happen. I think Dame has sort of deserves the chance, and I think that he definitely has it in him. The question is, is LeBron at the point in his career where he won't be able to like go toe to toe with someone, just a little quicker and just a he powerful than he is.
He also has AD too, that helps.
Yeah, that's fair. AD does help, but I also think AD can't handle the heat. I'm with you on this one, Gabriel. I think the Lakers are a little soft.
I mean, so here's the thing: is I think LeBron is. He's maybe not quite 2001 Michael Jordan, but like he's very quickly getting there. We're like, yeah, he's still really, really good, but he will benefit by being surrounded by a really good team. But like LeBron's a dinosaur.
People also say this about LeBron before every playoff. Like people were saying this about him 2 years ago.
Every year we wait for LeBron to just be old and irrelevant. It's never going to happen.
Eventually, it's going to be LeBron, AD, and then Bronny Jr. Trying to rally together. I don't know what fucking team those three will be on. Oh God, the Sacramento Kings,
LeBron, the Charlotte Hornets. Finally.
Look, the bottom line is LeBron is playing basketball the way we grew up watching and seeing basketball be played. He is not playing the basketball of the future where you're drawing fouls, getting to. No, first off, you need to get to the free throw line. Assists don't matter. Making points out on the field. He needs to be getting at least 50 attempts per game if he wants to stay in the conversation. It is the era of the grift 3.0, and
50 attempts
LeBron needs
at
to
the free
adapt.
throw line specifically is
yes.
what Gabe wants.
Yes.
Look, I can't take games seriously.
I want games to be determined at the free throw line. I want them to take 7 hours to be played.
Oh my God. Why do you have to ruin basketball for everyone? But I'm very surprised that the Toronto fan came on here and tried to call the Lakers soft when the Lakers
LeBronto is over.
LeBronto. Oh God, that's right.
LeBronto is finally over. The Lakers haven't beaten the Raptors in like 3 years at this point. It's all good. I mean, like how many, like the PTSD is definitely worn off. I will say
you say that now, and the championship of Toronto makes it just, oh God. Oh no.
my hot take
flashbacks.
My hot take is that Kawhi going to the Raptors for a year transferred like everything you loved about the mid 2000s Spurs into Toronto. Like they're going to be the Spurs of the future. You know what I mean? Like playing like a team. Nick Nurse will be Pop 2.0. You know what I mean? Like OG Anunoby is going to be the next Tim Duncan. You just fucking watch. It's going to be great.
The Toronto Medical Center decides to
in the making of this podcast.
No. Adrian Griffin is going to go coach the Bulls next season. They're just going to become a feeder to like every other team in terms of talent, but it's going to be okay because they're going to, make the playoffs for, 12 years and maybe win 4.
I have something for all 5 of our listeners out there. All right. It is the cool, trendy thing in basketball to hate on LeBron James and whatever team he's leading to domination, but don't. Because there's no reason to. The guy's been amazing to basketball, amazing for basketball, still playing amazing basketball.
And that is why Gabe is so excited.
I don't disagree that LeBron is playing great basketball. He's just playing an ancient, outdated form of basketball.
Playing the
He
mystic
changed
Jedi
his
arts.
game
Yeah.
so much.
Mitch, you and I don't disagree. You and I don't disagree that LeBron is a great player. I am just saying I am hating on LeBron for a very not trendy reason. I want to point that out, that he's not getting to the free throw line enough. He's not grifting enough. He needs to grift more.
Well,
People's biggest complaint about LeBron is how much of a crybaby he is.
That's
He's not a
literally
big enough
every star
crybaby.
player. I mean,
Yeah, everybody.
LeBron is not the question though. I think in that matchup, I think the matchup is everyone else
Yes,
around LeBron.
the rest
Like
of the
I think,
Lakers team besides AD and LeBron. Yeah.
like I think it's going to be ultimately like if it's a matchup between LeBron and Dame, I think that Dame wants it more, and I think that's going to count for a lot. I mean, and like AD, I think is soft. LeBron, not. He's obviously a very, very good player. He's obviously very scary. I obviously don't see
let me know if
flashbacks
he's
of him
in the
in my
room
dreams.
with you right now.
Okay, I was gonna
Abdul.
say,
It's okay.
I can accept all this and we can move on like Kelton wants now.
Good. Well, I mean, I just think it's interesting that the four of us were split on a Lakers Blazers matchup, which is intriguing to me. I like to think that we don't have an anti-LA bias, but then I look down on Clippers Mavs, and I'm surprised yet again because Mitch, you're picking the Clippers to win in 6, and Abdul and I we're picking the Mavs to win in 7. Explain
Look,
yourself here. What's going on?
Y'all like shared. Abdul sent you some of that good Canadian legal weed, and like you're like, oh, Clippers versus Mavericks. Luka.
Luka will go off.
The Clippers have the best roster in the NBA. They're the deepest team. They're led by the two-headed monster in Kawhi Leonard and Paul George.
They haven't had any mess ups on their chemistry. They haven't had any bizarre falterings as a team. They didn't get blown out by a G League Mets team while in the bubble. None of that.
Because y'all underestimate the Mets. So let's clarify that. That had nothing to do with the Clippers. Everything to do with the Nets. But I think the one team that can give the Clippers trouble is the Nuggets, just because of their size. But the Mavericks don't have the size. Like the Clippers are going to be able to defend the Mavericks really well on the perimeter. I'm going to be happy if the Mavericks can win 1 or 2 games.
Do you think the Mavericks
get that
can
experience?
make this a track meet?
They could. They absolutely could. They do have the ability to surprise everyone, but they don't play defense and they give up leads too much. And I'm just like, I'm going to stick with the team I think is going to win it all.
All right. It's game 7. Mavs are up by 20 points. It's 8 minutes left in the third quarter.
They lose.
Mitch is a nervous wreck.
Yes. I'm literally not even watching the game at that point because I know I'm going to watch them lose because I've done it a million times throughout the season.
Betting all of his money on the Clippers.
Yes, Clippers money line. Clippers money line.
Well, very interesting analysis here. Gabe, do you have anything to add?
So ultimately, we've already seen the Suns destroy the Mavs 2 games. 1 game, but just by 2. Very close game, and that was the Mavs giving it everything they could, and then they came back a second time, and maybe just their bench gave it everything they could, but it was still an absolute blowout win by the Phoenix Suns because the Suns are killers. They come for the Mavs, and put them out of their misery. That said, I do think the Suns would probably lose in 7 to the Clippers because the Clippers are absolutely a great team.
Whoa.
The Suns did, manage to steal one from the Clippers in the bubble. I think they earned it. They played hard.
They definitely did.
They played hard. Booker managed to embarrass the best two-man team in the NBA in Kawhi Leonard and God damn it! Now
Patrick Beverly.
Train of thought. Paul George. Yes, Patrick Beverly.
No, Patrick Beverly was out.
Yeah, Patrick Beverly wasn't in the game.
He was on the bench. He was providing the moral support, arguably more effective on the bench than he is on the floor. Thank you very much.
But I mean, you have to be crazy to not. But in terms of the actual matchup, you're crazy if you don't pick the Clippers. Like, the Clippers are running this all the way to the chip, or the very least the Western Conference Finals.
You're also like, you got to take into account the fact that Adam Silver will be whispering the ref's ear to make sure that it's an LA fucking conference
Western
finals,
Conference
right?
Final?
Yeah,
Absolutely.
Like, in a perfect world, they'd want, Celtics Lakers finals just to reignite the rivalry and get the ratings up. But in a perfect world, Raps in 6.
Well,
Ride
very
the wave,
interesting.
man.
I think contrasting it with the game, or rather the matchup that the NBA wants the most in the finals versus the game that the NBA could care less about, the Western Conference first round, that's the Nuggets and the Jazz. Because with the way the Jazz are going, it really kind of seems like this will be a classic matchup of different styles, but the Nuggets just are more solid across the board. I mean, I have Nuggets in 5. What do y'all have them at, and what are your thoughts?
I'll be honest, these are the two teams I care the least about in the entire league. Like, Charlotte's fun to observe from a distance. Is there like a pity party? There are other teams that are like irrelevant but enjoyable, but there's something about these mountain teams that just I forget they exist. So I just
Eastern Conference bias.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
Because we feel the same way about you, by the way.
Yeah, see, and this is why Toronto fans are always bitching about not getting any respect. But yeah, there's just something about these two teams that, like, you just forget I forget they exist until the Raptors play them. Unlike any other team in the league, which I sort of like casually pay attention to. So I did look up a highlight reel of both teams. And decided Nuggets in 6 apropos of absolutely nothing.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that works. Mitchell, I know you have Nuggets in 4. Is that correct?
Yeah. I mean, I just don't see the Jazz being able to keep up offensively with the Nuggets, especially these new look Nuggets with Skinny Joker and Michael Porter Jr. and guys like Jeremiah Grant and PJ Dozier coming on the scene. They're just deep as can be. They're going to come out. They're going to play tall ball. Like, watching these guys pass underneath the basket is like makes me horny as a basketball fan.
Basket too. It's
yes, like literally, like underneath the basket. There's like 5 feet of room, and you have 3 7-footers, and they're just like, whoop, hop, Gabe,
do you want to buck the trend at all?
So here's what I think is going to happen is if the Suns had a chance against either of these teams, it would be 4 games. No problem. They would sweep either the Nuggets or the Jazz. But unfortunately, the Suns are being potentially, and the more I watch this score, robbed of a chance at the playoffs. And it's a testament to how much Adam Silver hates the Suns. But that said, this series is going to go to 7. And it's going to be filled with multiple overtimes. Like, I'm saying almost every game is going to go into overtime. It's going to be a knockdown, drag-out suckfest from both teams all the way through 7 games. It's going to be the most boring series to watch, and it's going to take the most amount of minutes to play on the floor.
I would agree with you if Bojan was still playing, but without Bojan, man, Donovan Mitchell, Rudy Gobert by himself, the Nuggets are just too stacked.
We don't know.
These are teams that exist.
You hear that energy level, how it's starting to get sucked out of the room? That's right. I hope you enjoy that Nuggets Jazz.
Look, the only reason why y'all are more like on the Nuggets is because you obviously haven't watched them play enough. They're second
I have watched them play. I have watched the. They're sloppy.
Oh,
it's
I wouldn't go that
sloppy
far.
They're going to rely. They don't even have the air advantage this time, though, right?
I mean,
they don't have the thinner air. Yeah.
I just think that the Nuggets are going to jump to like a 10 to 15 point lead every game. And then they're just going to be coasting. And then they're going to have like a shit show of a fourth quarter where it's going to be their bench.
They can put their entire bench in, and their bench is better than the entire Jazz team.
I
the
just
entire-
imagined.
Donovan Mitchell, sir, it wouldn't
Yes.
be in the starting five of Denver. Huh?
On the Denver bench.
I just imagined like the Jazz recovering from fucking coronavirus trying to play in Denver air. Like,
my
could you
God.
fucking imagine? That would be awful.
The easiest sweep ever.
Yeah, just panting up and down the court.
They have run out of bodies. They are now requesting the 3 Jazz fans who have been able to break into the stadium here. The Instagram
girlfriends,
model
yes.
there we go.
Yes.
That's right.
Yes. Yes, finally.
Finally seeing like one normal sized human being standing next to Bol
That
Bol.
person is miniature.
Muggsy
Wait,
Bogues 2.0. Yeah.
they're actually just my height.
My God. Okay, so the last matchup, the last thing here, man, we are going way long. So thank you to everyone.
I'm super
still-
sorry about forcing that, by the way. Yes.
We knew that this would be going for a while, and like if we just were blandly reading out our picks, that would be one thing. But I've really been having a blast here.
Oh, this is our new normal time. What are you talking about?
Oh, that's right. That's right. Yeah.
It's Raptor time, baby. You have to give an extra 20 minutes for love of the greatest team in the NBA.
Per our new contract of Abdul joining us, we now have to. We will close out with 25 straight minutes of why Vince Carter was a little try-hard bitch. Okay, so
Vince Carter does suck, but he brought basketball to Canada. That's okay. We love him for it. All is forgiven, you know.
All right.
I hope he enjoyed his time on the Nets.
Now on the matchup, and it's the last matchup in the West. The last thing we'll talk about. It's the matchup that is near and dear to my heart because it is entirely possible that at the start of the season, my insane prediction that the Thunder would be a top 4 playoff team in the West could actually be true if they decide to actually play and win tomorrow, or if the Rockets decide to sit everyone, with Westbrook injured, it looks like they're going to actually be doing, and the Thunder will maintain the number 4 seed in the West, which is just, my God. I feel so proud of past me. Granted, it took a pandemic and them playing in a bubble, and
I can feel the cream coming out of your pants all the way from Dallas.
It's so fun for me because the Thunder were the team I decided to follow in 2020 because the Rockets decided to do a style of play that I just don't agree with, a small ball style, the grift style, as Gabe would decide to put it, and
something, sorry, not to cut you off, but something super interesting in this book called The Game Is Not a Game by Robert Scoop Jackson is he does this, and it's about sports and like the politics of sports from like it's published by Verso. It's a pretty good, Haymarket, sorry. It's a great book. But he talks about the way that Daryl Morey basically gentrified the league with analytics, like taking away this idea of like, Black expression through sport and through like, achievement in athletics by like trying to quantify it. And like talking about that's also one of the reasons that like baseball has fewer Black players than it ever has since integration happened. Like it's fuck Daryl Morey, but that's a really fucking fascinating argument that I highly recommend everyone pick up that book and read, because it's a really good takedown of small ball and why it's like not just a bad strategy, but also why it is like ruining the league point by point.
Yeah, you really want to root against this team. You really don't want to see them well. Now, Abdul, what did you pick in this matchup here?
I did pick Rockets in 5. I do love OKC. Shea, come on, Canadian talent, Canada, not a real country, but Shea, real person from, roughly my illegitimate nation state. But like, here's my thing with
nothing problematic with Oklahoma, by the way. Nothing there.
But there's something like, here's my thing with also small ball in terms of its effectiveness. And I think you see it every year with the Rockets a little bit, is like, especially now, I think that they're going to burn out. I think that it's an unsustainable kind of play. I think that you're good for a series, maybe 2, but I don't think you can take it all the way. I think that's fucking exhausting. It is physically distressing to players. It gets you hot, but if you think that Harden can sustain that level of play or Westbrook for that matter, for
Westbrook
16 games,
he legitimately is looking like he's going to be out for this series. Like
yeah, exactly.
He pulled a quad, or did he tear?
Oh, did he?
Mitch, do you know?
Did he tear?
All I saw was
That was a quad
injury.
bruise.
Yeah, I
Okay.
didn't think it was
Yeah, I
that
think
big
it
of a
was-
deal. Sorry, go ahead, Gabe.
Yeah, no, I think it's just a quad bruise. And yeah, I think, the idea that small ball, and particularly this kind of small ball, is removing expression from the league. This is a type of play that suits Harden and Westbrook. And the reason people hate it is they were fine with Manu Ginobili doing this. But when Chris Paul started-
switching it up. I see.
When
I
James
see.
Harden started grifting, now all of a sudden it's a problem. It's okay when the white dude from Argentina does this. But no, it's
Yeah,
a
because
huge
guess how
problem.
many white dudes are on Houston? 0 white dudes are on
But I
Houston.
mean, the Spurs also didn't like run an entire offense based on small ball, though. Like the way
Yeah.
that the
Well, they
Rockets are
had-
doing right
They
now.
had Tim Duncan. That's the GOAT.
Oh, but but the thing is, nobody seemed to bat an eye when Manu Ginobili. They didn't say Manu Ginobili was ruining the game, but then of course the second, a team of very talented black folks come out and do it. Now all of a sudden the game is being ruined. It's being gentrified. That is a racist argument and a garbage argument.
I should mention Robert Scoop Jackson is black.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm sorry, he is coming on and saying that his own people are ruining the game. He is taking exactly what all these white analysts are out here saying and what have you. It's garbage. It is a garbage argument. Book should have never been published. I haven't read it, and I'm not going to.
So
It's a very
this is
good
record. Usually we cross these kind of lines 5 minutes into the podcast, and now it's an hour and 40 minutes before we finally cross that line.
That's
but
right.
we had to cross it.
Yeah,
We had to cross it.
It's important. It's important here. So, in terms of actual predictions, I'm legitimately picking the Thunder to win in 7. Again, also on the assumption that Westbrook is hurt, and so it misses at least like 1.5 of those games. So there's
that's why I had
definitely
the
an
Rockets
asterisk
in
behind their
7.
win. So.
If Westbrook wasn't hurt, then it'd be Rockets in 6. But I think it's going to take an extra game based on Westbrook being out. So
Hey,
And
I see.
I feel like we don't have Gabe's opinion on this yet.
No, not quite.
Oh, the bottom line is small ball is a wonderful form of basketball that D'Antoni, though he is an absolutely visionary coach that always knows where the league is going before it gets there, he can never make it work. He is the person
He's Moses.
He is Moses. He knows the destination. He knows the goal, but it is a championship ring is something he can never possess. So he just guides people to the thing he can never have, right? Whatever movie that's from.
Yeah, something. Who knows?
But so ultimately, I think Houston they might be able to steal it in 7, but it's going to be most likely Thunder in 6.
You love to see it.
But hands down, going to be the most entertaining first round matchup that we have.
Okay. That was going to be my last thing, so that way then we can wrap up. Of the East and the West here, East and West, what do you think is going to be the most entertaining matchup in the first round?
Like, are we talking entertaining as in massacre, or like entertaining, back
you're
and
gonna
forth?
want to
like
watch every single time. Use your own metric from there. It's from your own personal point of preference.
I mean, watching fuck Brooklyn come back to Toronto. Masai Ujiri's famous statement a couple of years ago. Yeah, I mean, it's gonna be Toronto sweeping sweeping the Nets, just
right.
making them look like
for your
absolute
sake, I
babies.
really hope the Nets don't win any games because I will find you on Twitter and I will cyberbully the fuck out of you.
We're gonna be
It's okay, I
adding
get
him
it
to
a
the
lot.
group chat after this episode. You're
Just
gonna be
getting
able to
roasted.
find him.
Yeah.
I will find you and I will cyberbully you.
Oh man, I'm like I'm a Raptors fan. You're always set up for perpetual disappointment. But I mean,
You know, the Nets are still playing within 6 of the Blazers right now. 8 minutes left in the third. It's still a 6-point game.
yeah, but the Blazers don't have that championship glow, baby.
I mean, first off, perpetual disappointment saying the defending champs right now. Just gonna throw that one out there.
Okay, but after how many years of just watching them get fucking swept out?
First off, as somebody who is actually a Phoenix Suns fan, how many years since the last time we won the championship? Let me ask you that.
Okay, you know what? That's fair. You know, some teams have it worse, but you know what I'm saying is that we get no respect. That's all I'm saying. Toronto Raptors fans, no respect ever. No championship
Look,
respect. No playoff respect.
I'm fine. I'm fine with spreading around the respect. There should be more respect. And I'm just saying the Suns should automatically get a bye to the Western Conference Finals. Like, that is fair is fair. And, you know, the Lakers are only allowed to field 6 players. Like, I think that would be fair for the Suns.
Well, short of that then happening, Gabe, what matchup are you wanting to keep track of?
I mean, clearly it's in the Western Conference, it's without a doubt Houston versus OKC. And then in the Eastern Conference, it's Heat Pacers. That's just going to be, those are going to be the two most entertaining, most likely to go to 6 or 7 games on both sides.
I mean, yeah, it's the 4 and 5 seed, so it makes the most sense, you know.
I mean,
you know, it's going to be Lakers v Suns, and it's going to be amazing to watch the Suns absolutely destroy the softest baby shit Lakers.
Oh Lord, they're coming for us now. Mitchell, what are you thinking? What's the one matchup you're
in the East? You can't miss, you know, Heat Pacers. That's just going to be great basketball if you're a basketball fan. In the West, I will say that the Mavericks and Clippers should be really exciting. I really like the Thunder Rockets matchup, but I'm just like kind of over James Harden and CP3. So big Kawhi Leonard fan, big Luka Doncic fan. Want to see those guys battle it out.
I get it. No, that's why for me, my most looked forward to. God, I can't speak at this point. The matchup I'm most here for is the Clippers and Mavs. I really think that's going to be a track meet. I really think that's going to be fascinating. And I think worst case scenario, it's going to be Luka taking things to another level and really starting a conversation for next year.
Would love to see it.
Yeah. I know. God forbid, right? So we'll have to break things off there.
We stand our Slavic king.
We will follow up on that next week, though. In the meantime, thank you to everyone for checking us out, wherever you're watching this video or listening to this podcast. Be sure and follow us on Twitter at SportsRadio1917. Abdul, where can people find you? What have you got going on?
Yeah, I recently, today is the day I abdicated my podcast of 3 years for about 6 months or however long it takes for me to get my professional life in order. But you can still listen to it because Evan's going to do a great job with it. Kino Lefter at Kino Lefter on Twitter. It's a socialist movie podcast with some great takes and wonderful host chemistry that is no longer there. Both of our co-hosts left in the same day.
For people listening at home, the Invisible Man episode is a phenomenal one.
I appreciate that a lot.
I mean, it just that one really inspired me to want to watch it again after hearing the commentary. It's very, very good. So I commend your podcast.
I appreciate that a lot. I'm almost getting misty-eyed at not being on my own podcast anymore.
It was dog shit. It was awful. I hated it. Oh my god, sweet freedom. Am I right?
You can find me on Twitter at Socialist Raptor. I am a writer by trade, so you can follow me on Twitter for like, articles and stuff I write. And once COVID is over and movie theaters are back open, you will be able to see my first studio feature in theaters.
Oh wow!
Peace by Chocolate. It's a story of a Syrian refugee who opened up a chocolate business in Nova Scotia based on a true story. It is a very lib movie. I'm just going to say that right now, as is the entire film industry. But like, what?
You gotta get that paper.
Yeah, absolutely. WGC rates, baby. But yeah, like it should be in theaters hopefully in January of next year, depending on how the pandemic pans out. It's got some good sales talk right now. And yeah, like watch it at me about its politics, please, because believe me, I fucking know. But watch it with your parents. Watch it with your well-meaning parents who will definitely love it. I always say it's a film I would never watch, but my dad, he would go over the fucking moon for it. And yeah, like, again, if you follow me on Twitter, you'll be able to follow the progress of like my screenwriting career, which is, slowly coming to something. We got a really cool decolonial kids show working with the Canadian Broadcasting Corporation on like why Canada overlooks like the achievements of its minorities and workers. So that'll be nice in a couple around this time next year. But yeah, no, it's really good time. And by the way, thank you guys for having me on. I know we ran super long, but I've had such a blast. Any excuse to talk sports, and yeah, it was amazing. You can follow me on Twitter at Socialist Raptor.
Hell to the yeah. No, I mean, listen. We very much appreciate having you on as we're falling into madness ourselves with the Portland Trailblazers ahead only by 2 points to the Brooklyn Nets.
What the fuck is the box score right now? Jesus Christ.
LeVert has 28 points. Caris LeVert has 28 points in the third quarter.
What
this
the
guy is the real deal.
This is fucking insane.
I mean, I think we all know what we're going to be doing after this. Well, I mean, I'm going to be clipping this and then pushing it out and then having to edit another podcast. But in the meantime, people can find me on Twitter at Culture Truther. But just follow the sports show. That's really kind of what I've taken over of late, of just posting all the time there. Mitchell, Gabe, where can people find you?
Please don't find me. Go find someone way more interesting.
You can find me on Twitter at Dr. Goldtooth. And then you can follow my other podcast, Does It Slap? We release episodes whenever we feel like it.
Yeah, that's right. We just follow it all the way through. For people who are wondering, the money line is absolutely fucking insane right now, just the fluctuations that's taking place with all of this. So we're off. We're going to go lose a whole bunch of money or win a whole bunch. You're going to be listening to this in the future, so it doesn't really matter. Just know that we love you, and we will see you next week. All right.